my umbrellas was good, man. Quick update 2024. I got a lot of good news, man. First and foremost, I want to talk about the music. After about 20-something to 30-something fuck-ups in the States, me and my engineer have finally figured out how to record music over the jail phone and still keep the quality as professional as I had it on the street. It's over. I done cracked the fucking code, man. This means that not even these prison walls can stop me from dropping new music. It's crazy. That being said, man, I'm about to start dropping hot heaps of coal on y'all head top. You know what I mean? I'm dropping the all-new Free Tory playlist. It's going to be updated every week with new music that I'm recording from prison in real time. You know, this is the first of its kind. And although God has already showed me that this moment is only temporary, it speaks testimony to the fact that no matter where they put me, they can't lock down my spirit, my ambition, my soul, my passion, nor my destiny. Umbrella, I'll be home very soon. But in the meanwhile, Free Tory playlist on the way, you heard?
What's the deal, my people? Thank you for joining me on my channel, Panama's OG Truth. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me right now. Welcome to my Prison Chronicles Volume 2. And this one right here, I really wasn't gonna get into, but I have to speak up on this. I feel like it's my duty to bring it to y'all and break it down for those that never been to prison, and I hope you never go, but those that really do not understand what we call prison politics, okay? As y'all already know, Tory Lanez got stabbed up, got poked up, whatever you want to call it, a couple of days ago. And this is an unfortunate situation. Like I said, this is something that happens on a routine, on a daily basis in prisons all around the world. But it's a lot of talk out there, a lot of narrative, and I just want to give you a little bit of perspective from somebody that's been in this prison environment. Like I said, I did 12 years from the age of 17 till I was 29 years old. So when I speak from experience and still having partners that are still incarcerated and never going home. That being said, Tory Lanez was incarcerated, or still is incarcerated, in the state of California. He's a Canadian citizen, so he's literally out of bounds. I just want to get that understood, and you're going to see why I want to get that understood. He got stabbed up 14 times. And like I said, I'm not here to call nobody out. I'm not here to disrespect nobody. I'm just here to kick the facts from my point of view, Panama's OG Truth. All right? Now, a lot of the speculation is that this was a racial hit, okay? A lot of people are saying that this was racially motivated because the guy that stabbed him, allegedly, is a Mexican guy. And Tory Lanez being black, if you don't know, everything in prison is racially motivated, okay? Blacks stick to blacks, whites stick to whites, Mexicans stick to Mexicans. And before we get into this, I just want to give you a little bit of insight in the prison world. Every prison is different, but the basic, as far as politics go, is always gonna be the same. Race is a big thing that plays a role in prison, okay? I'm not even gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. It's a racially charged environment, okay? Second of all, if you are in prison in a state like California, politics are the order of the day. And let me explain that to y'all. For example, in Texas, where I did my time, politics, large role. Anything that goes down in prison, especially when it's administered and ran by the gang culture, as we know, prison, 98% of prison, as far as anything that's legal or illegal, is gonna be controlled by the gangs, okay? The administration, at the end of the day, they have the final say so. They could shut down a prison, whatever. We know that. But the day-to-day, the normal living standards in prison are controlled by prison gangs. That's just a fact, okay? Especially if you're in a maximum security level 3, level 4 yard, it's gonna be controlled by gangs. That's just the way it is. It's the world that prison is. So That being said, California has one of the most structured political environments when it comes to prison, okay? And I'm gonna try not to get into too many names as far as gangs or whatever, because I'm not here to glorify the gang culture, but I wanna break this down so you, that's sitting right now listening to me, can understand what I'm talking about, okay? Like that, you could do your own conclusions, put your own, narrative together. I'm just gonna give it to you raw and uncut. By him being a Canadian, not affiliated with any gangs that I know of, meaning street gangs, black street gangs in the California prison is gonna be your Crips, your Bloods, your Hoovers, your Black Guerrilla Family, BGF. You have other gangs, even the Muslims are considered a gang to an extent. They have their own structure, they have their own people that are representing. So everything in prison, like I said, when it comes to race, is gonna be associated with gangs, okay? The Mexicans, of course, you have the Mexican Mafia, you have Nuestra Familia, Sureños, Norteños, and so on and so on and so on. Whites, Aryan Brotherhood, Nazi lowriders, and so on and so on. So what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, that nothing in prison, especially in a state like Cali, like California, goes down with any sanctions. And when I say sanctions, I mean the people that are at the top of the food chain in the prison world, okay? California has one of the biggest administrative segregations system in the prison system in the United States of America. If you're a reputed gang member and they know that you're a gang member, they have proven, you've been confirmed, a lot of the times you're put up in administrative segregation, SEG. That's where your shot callers are sitting 23 hours a day out of the 24 locked up in a cell. They try to keep them isolated from the general population. So if something like this was gonna happen and it was sanction hit by the Mexicans, like they're trying to say, it would have to come from the top, okay? I wanna get that understood. And when this happens, when you have a shot caller from the top that's issuing out these type of hits, it has to be something that it cannot be avoided no more. There's no more talking. There's nothing that could be done. We've talked, meaning the Mexicans and the blacks, and nothing has been resolved. So it's gonna be flat out war. We're gonna take somebody out. That's like I said, when it's all said and done, nothing could be done. They do that. But it's not that easy, y'all. Because when you do something like this, you're risking a full-fledged racial riot. And these are common things in prison. Sometimes things just pop off, disrespect. You're in there with a bunch of men, a lot of men that are charged up, have a lot of time, that are already aggravated. They're not trying to hear that shit. It could pop off within seconds. That is true. But something like this, and I want y'all to understand this, a high profile target like Tory Lanez getting hit up the way he got hit up 14 times, by the way, I thank God that he's all right. It's gonna be from the top, all right? Because you're disrupting all the money-making industry in prison. Prison has a big money industry. Let me explain what I mean by that. Just because you're in prison, because you locked up, shit don't stop, y'all. You still have people selling their weed, selling their cocaine, selling their heroin, selling their pills. Hell, even alcohol, gambling, prostitution, extortion. These are all things that people in prison, especially gang-affiliated people, have their hands in, especially in a state like California, okay? It's a lot of money that's being made day in, day out. So if you send a hit, if you're a shot caller in administrative segregation, or as they say in the shoe, and you issue out a hit like this, something this big, that important, that could cause a big-ass racial riot, it has to be a legit reason for this to happen. Because people are gonna lose money. I guarantee you right now, those cats that are hustling, that are making their money in that prison, how you say that prison? Tiashiapi, some shit like that. It's a weird ass name. Tashiapia, something like that. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Whoever is hustling right now, they're not happy. Because the prison is shut down, locked down. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have searches where they go and hit cell for cell, flipping them inside out, looking for contraband, aka shanks, knives, drugs, cell phones. So people are gonna lose. So whoever did this, If it came from the top, believe me when I tell y'all, it was some political shit that went down and they called that shot. Me personally, I don't think this came from the top, and those that been incarcerated, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think somebody called this shot. I think that this guy, and from what I'm reading, his name is Santino Casio. And let me give you a little bit of background on this guy. Casio arrived at the Teachipa institution from Los Angeles County Jail in February 2004. He was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. So he has a life sentence, but he also has a possibility of making parole after doing X amount of years. That's how that goes. For second-degree murder. First-degree attempted murder, personal use of a dangerous or deadly weapon, and inflict great bodily injury. Casio has added to his criminal record during his incarceration. In January of 2008, he was sentenced to 6 years for assaulting a fellow prisoner with a deadly weapon. So that means that this guy, Casio, Santino Casio, he already done caught more time since he been incarcerated. From what I see, he either stabbed up or bust somebody upside the head with a weapon, but he caught some more time while he was already incarcerated. So he's not new to this type of violence in the prison system. He done poked up, he done busted some heads, and he done got more time added to that life sentence, which really don't mean shit. A lot of these dudes with life sentences, their mentality is, I got life sentence, 9 times out of 10, I'm never going home. So the first chance I get to get off, I'm gonna get off. The first chance I get to volunteer to do something, I'm doing it. This is the mentality. What you gonna do? Give them more time? In their mind, they ain't never going home. So they really don't give a fuck. They're the first ones to go out there and crash out, like they say. Let me continue. In 2018, he was sentenced to another 2 years for possessing a deadly weapon. So 2008, like I said, he gets 6 years added to his life sentence. Then in 2018, they get him another 2 years because he gets caught with a weapon. 9 times out of 10, we're talking about a knife, a shank, okay? So I'm saying this to show y'all, establish the pattern in the history this guy, Santino Casio, already has. Like they say, he's a career criminal. He's been in prison the majority of his life, probably he's never getting out, and he's added more time since he's been incarcerated for putting in that work, getting his hands dirty. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. So, let me continue, y'all. This guy, Casio, that allegedly attacked Tory Lanez, he stabbed him in the back of the head, in his face, made both of his lungs collapse from the puncture wounds. Despite being in pain, Tory Lanez is talking normally and in good spirits and deeply thankful to God that he's pulling through. Lanez was sentenced, as we know, in 2023 for 3 felony gun-related charges, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm. So we already know about all that. Supposedly he shot Meg Thee Stallion on the toes. Some people say he was set up by Roc Nation, aka Jay-Z. That's another one that we might explore since we're already on this subject. But back to this guy, Santino Casio, okay? The one that stabbed up Tory Lanez. This guy right here, if I had to put money on this shit, he's either a dropout, meaning he used to belong to a gang and they X'd his ass out, and it could be different reasons why they X'd him out, or he decided that he didn't want to be part of the gang no more, and he goes into a program. It's like a program for people that they are denouncing the gang life. Or they told him straight up, we're gonna kill you. We're gonna put a hit out on your ass. You're no longer able to be out here in general population. You cannot represent what we represent. You have an X on your back, as they say, an X. You have a green light on you, all right? And he might have never been part of a gang. And the reason why I say that, because the charge that he's in prison for, first of all, the victim was a 13-year-old girl. You already know what time it is. Any type of crime that has to do with a child, that shit don't fly in prison. Automatically right there, you're a marked man if they find out that you in prison with that type of charge. They said that he killed a 13-year-old girl. That supposedly he was involved with this girl. We don't know if, kidnapped her or they were having a relationship. Either way it go, this guy could be considered a pedophile. Somebody that fucks with underage kids. and you already know that there's two things in prison that are unforgiven. They're like ultimate sin. In other words, you're a marked man if your fellow inmates, convicts, find out that you're in prison with these type of charges. Child molester and a snitch. If you're either one of them and they find out that you're one of these two, or both in some cases, you're a marked man as there is. Especially if you come from a gang structure in the streets. In California, all the Mexicans, it doesn't matter what part of Cali you from, the north, norteños, the south, sureños, Long Beach, whatever, they all fall up under an umbrella. And those that have been incarcerated, those that know the system, you know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? There's rules and regulations to this shit. So for somebody to call a hit of this magnitude on a high-profile celebrity that's incarcerated like Tory Lanez, it will have to be something drastically that cannot be avoided, because it's affecting everybody's pocket. People cannot make money when the prison is on lockdown. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand, okay? So to make this type of call, you have to be either one dumbass, which I don't see it. The majority of these guys that are calling shots, they're pretty intelligent. They've been doing time for a long time. They know how to navigate the prison politics and avoid the unnecessary violence. Nobody wants violence when you incarcerated, because it's bad for business. I want y'all to understand this, okay? If you're making money and all of a sudden this type of shit happens, you gotta scramble, hide your contraband, hide your dope, hide your cell phone, stash your weapons. You know, you don't want this shit. You wanna do your time as comfortably as possibly you can. You wanna smoke your weed, you wanna drink your hooch, you wanna do your things, kick back, have fun, and do the time the way you wanna do it. Nobody wants to be on lockdown. That's what I want y'all to understand, okay? Now, if you look at this picture of this guy right here, it looks like he has a pentagram tattoo right below his throat, okay? 9 times out of 10, I'm willing to bet this guy is what in Texas we call an HMR patient. Somebody that has psychological problems. Somebody that might be schizophrenic, might be a paranoid psychopath. Somebody that is on pills, is on top of medication. Because a lot of these dudes, they keep them doped up. I remember when I was locked up, they had something called Thurocine. I don't know if they still have it here in Texas, but a lot of inmates were on this Thurocine, and it would turn them into zombies. Like literally, to see somebody that's fully medicated on these medications, it's like you're looking either at somebody that's dumbed down, like a zombie, or somebody that's, you know, wired up, you know, ready to go. Any little thing they snap. Or if they don't get their medication for a day or two, they can snap. I've seen it happen a lot of times. I've seen motherfuckers that are constantly taking pills, and all of a sudden they don't have these pills, and they crash out. They throw shit at a CO. Yeah, they throw shit, piss, all this type of shit. We call them catch-out moves. We don't respect that. When I say we, I'm talking about the people that are in general population. You do shit like this, this is a way of getting put up. In other words, removed from the general population. I don't know this guy. I don't know, you know, if he was doing this type of shit. But by me seeing that pentagram on his throat, 9 times out of 10, this guy was a nut job. He was a schizophrenic fucking nut. That's what I'm willing to bet. That's what I'm willing to think. And we're gonna explore this a little bit more. We're gonna get even a little bit deeper on what I'm trying to explain to y'all, okay? Automatically people say, oh, he's Mexican. They see his shaved head, the tattoo. Oh, he's gang affiliated. We don't know that. We really don't know that. If he's in a 50-50 yard, 50-50 yard means you have people, white, black, Hispanic, different gangs, every type of gang in the same yard, in the same cell block, living together, okay? That's what you call a 50-50 yard. It's not segregated, all right? And he also could have been, you know, what they call SNY, sensitive need yard. SNY yard in Cali is for people that are in danger of losing their lives. They've been threatened. They're X'd out by a former gang. They used to belong to a gang. They're no longer part of this gang for whatever reason. They have a green light on them. They can't be in general population. Or they did a catch-out move. They spit on an officer. They threatened the officer. You know, whatever. Anything to be removed from general population. Because a lot of these dudes, let's face it, y'all, they have all these tattoos and shit, but they're really scared. They're really scared, and they don't want to be in general population. I doubted that this guy is one of those guys that is out of population because he did something or he asked to be put out of population. I think that the charge that he's in there for, involving a 13-year-old minor, automatically puts an X on this guy. And he cannot be in general population. So this is what I'm concerned about. Okay? If Tory Lanez, being a celebrated superstar as he is, I don't know if he's in general population or not. But if he is in general population, how did this guy get the drop on Tory Lanez? Okay? They said that this happened around 7:15, 7:20, early in the morning. All right? Around this time, two things. Either they're coming back from eating breakfast, chow, or education. One or the other. I don't see nothing else, man. It didn't happen in the rake yard like people trying to say that it happened on the yard. It could have happened in the Sally Port. The Sally Port is where you're coming out the cell block and you're about to go outside to get to your destination, wherever you're going in the prison. When you're in the Sally Port, people are bunched up in there. Like, just imagine a bunch of cows inside of a gate waiting for the gate to open. You're bunched up in there. I've seen some shit happen in there. People get stabbed up, people get their head busted. It goes down. I've seen riots kick off in the Sally Port. So my point is, he got caught slipping. Tory Lanez got caught slipping. And we also gotta look at it like this. This could also be, a one-on-one situation. They probably had some type of interaction and Tory Lanez could have got, fly with this dude, disrespected him, or he felt he got disrespected and the dude wanted to take it to another level. From what I'm seeing, this guy, he ain't no little guy. Okay? About 5'8", 5'9". When he got arrested, he was 190 pounds. This is over 20 years ago. He's 41 or 42 years old now. Everybody knows when you get older, you gain more weight, especially if you've been incarcerated. He's probably been working out, eating good. So he's a pretty big dude compared to Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is a little bitty dude. What? 5'5", 5'6", 150, 160 pounds max? So he's a little dude. Now, people say, well, how did he stab him up that many times? Simple. These dudes, and when I say these dudes, I'm talking about career convicts. They've been locked up for a period of time. They know how to strap up. They know how to get the knives and tie them up around their wrists. So when they're handling their business, they will not drop the knives. So every time this dude is swinging on Tory Lanez, he's sticking them. He probably had 2 knives, one on each hand. All right? Like I said, he's done this shit before. He's done this before. He's not new to this. He's true to this. Okay? But what I don't understand, y'all, how was he on the same yard with Tory Lanez? On the same cell block with Tory Lanez? And I've seen some other podcasters talking about Tory Lanez is running the yard, he's putting bags on people and all that. And that right there, I have a problem with that, y'all. Like I said, prison is a very charged, political, gang-infested environment. The people that are running and calling the shots are gang members. And there's a reason why they're considered a security threat. All right? I don't see Tory Lanez being a gang member. I don't see Tory Lanez being a security threat. He only has a 10-year sentence. He probably could do 6-7 years and make parole and boop, get up out of there. So he's not what you call a hardcore gang-banging criminal, career criminal. I just don't see that. Some people try to say that, he's running with a gang in there. That's also a possibility. I'm not sure about that. Like I said, he's a Canadian. He's not even from Cali. All right? So if he is involved with any type of gangs, this is something that he's picked up since he's been incarcerated, okay, in the state of California. I don't see him coming with that. All right? And look, I'm going to tell y'all like this, man. If this guy took it upon himself to do this to Tory Lanez, this is a one-on-one situation. All right? Like I say, I don't see the higher ups, the Mexicans. And you know who I'm talking about, y'all. I don't see these guys putting out a hit on Tory Lanez. Behind what? Because he got money? Because he's buying canteen, as they say? If he's buying Zoom Zoom and Wham Whams, chips and soups and sodas and shit for other people, for the other black inmates, they don't give a fuck about that. The blacks don't care about how the Mexicans feed themselves. They don't care about how much money the Mexicans are making, as long as they don't have nothing to do with their business. And the Mexicans don't give a fuck how much money the blacks are making, or one individual, how much canteen he has, how much money he's doing, or how much dope he's smoking. They don't care about that. They got their own rackets going on. I just want y'all to understand that. So all this bullshit that people are talking about, that they stabbed him up behind jealousy, or he was in the way of business or whatever, I just don't see that happening. This guy right here, he looks like a straight up crash dummy. The amount of time that he has, it is easily considered somebody that has crash dummy tendencies. Okay? I don't see him being affiliated with any type of prison gang. Like I said, the pedophile charge crosses that out automatically. Now, some people might say, well, is there a possibility that one of these gangs tapped them and told them, hey, if you want to get in good grace with us, if you want to get back good with us, you have to do this. You have to go and take this cat out, take him out the equation, because he's balling, he's bringing money, he's doing, certain things, and we want to get this guy out the way. Take these knives, go handle your business. That could be a possibility. I'm not saying that didn't happen. It could be a possibility, y'all. A lot of times, this shit does happen. But back to what I'm telling y'all. If you're a shot caller and you're making money, because some of these dudes are making more money than motherfuckers out here that are doing the same thing. Selling dope, running gambling operations, running prostitution, running extortion. These are all things that the gangs are controlling from top to bottom. So if this cat did this and it was sanctioned, in other words, somebody sent them to do it, it has to be something big, something that could have been avoided. Okay? It could be numerous things. It could be Tory Lanez disrespected somebody, they put out a hit on him because it was a disrespect that couldn't go unpunished, like they say. They had to retaliate. It could be a gambling debt, which they say it wasn't that. It could be he said something to this dude one day, and the dude, he thought about it. A couple of days went by, and he couldn't accept the fact that a R&B, aka rapper, disrespected him, so he decided to take it to him. It could be numerous things, y'all. But I'm willing to bet, like I said, and we're gonna find out, I'm willing to bet that this was a one-on-one isolated situation. A lot of these guys, they go for the higher target, the one that they're gonna get the credit, the one that is gonna make their name buzz the way his name is buzzing out here right now. I mean, let's be for real. If it's not Tory Lanez that this shit happened to, nobody in the world will know who this dude is, Santino Casio. Nobody will know, nobody will give a fuck or anything about him. That's just a fact, okay? But by him doing this, he gets notoriety. He becomes penitentiary famous. His name starts ringing. Oh, that's the guy that stabbed Tory Lanez. Oh, that's the guy that tried to kill Tory Lanez. So it could be a combination of things of what I'm trying to tell y'all. If I had to bet a wager on this, I would say he did this on his own. He took it upon himself. He got the most famous target that he could put his hands on, Tory Lanez. All right? Like I said, a crash out move. He probably wants out the prison. He probably wants to go to another prison. This is what we call catch out moves. They probably got a hit out on him. And the only way for him to get out of the prison where he's at right now is by doing something of this magnitude. Because believe me, he ain't gonna stay at that prison. If you the administration, if you the warden at this prison, the first thing you want to do is send this dude to another prison. Get him out your prison. Because if he stays in your prison, and it's true that it was sanctioned from the higher ups, you're going to have a racial charged environment. More than what it normally is. It's going to be tension. Any little thing could spark a full-fledged riot. And if you the administration, if you the warden, you don't want that shit under your watch. So it's kind of crazy because, like I say, man, if Tory Lanez, he was, programming in a 50-50 yard. It's numerous things that go into this shit, y'all. I just want y'all to understand that when these type of things happen and the whole prison goes on lockdown, people are losing money as we speak. And I'm not talking about just the Mexicans. Everybody, black, white. There's so many rackets that are going on in prison, especially in a state like California, that, believe me, nobody wants this. All right? So I'm willing to bet this dude, he took it upon himself to bring this poking that he did on Tory Lanez. I guarantee you he did this shit on his own. It could have been numerous things. You know, Tory Lanez probably didn't even do nothing to this dude. Probably never said a word to this dude. But just on the strength that he's a high-profile inmate, he's going to be, you know, somebody that people want to make a name off. Especially this type of dude right here. Like I said, career criminal. He done caught already more times since he's been in prison by assaulting another inmate. He done caught more time because he got caught with a weapon, probably a knife. So this guy right here, like I said, he's been doing this shit, y'all. Tory Lanez just happened to be in his path. That's the way I look at it. And whoever feels different, get in the comments. Let me know. I'm not from California. I've never done no time in California. And I'm not gonna try to interpret California politics. I'm just telling y'all from a person that's been incarcerated in the prison system, racially charged prison environment, because it's like that everywhere you go. 9 times out of 10, I don't see this being a sanctioned hit. That's my point. And if it is, then, you know, they're getting ready for things that are about to go down. You know, where it is that, you know, that when they come up off a lockdown, there's gonna be some shit going down. That's also a possibility. But at the end of the day, man, I'm telling y'all right now, nobody wins in that situation. Black, white, Hispanic, everybody's gonna lose money, everybody's gonna lose contraband, and that's the last thing you want. They said that Tory Lanez was, you know, buying, you know, a lot of things for different people in there, you know, showing love, showing people how to get, you know, back on appeals, time reductions, helping people out financially. I get it. But we're not gonna say that Tory Lanez was running the yard or the cell block, because if he's at a general population yard, I'm telling y'all right now, Tory Lanez is not running the cell block. He's not running the yard. Okay, that's not happening. For one, he's not from Cali. He's from Canada, not even from the United States. 2, he's not a gang-affiliated person. He did not come in the prison system representing a gang. If he is involved with any type of gang structure, it has happened since he's been in prison. And believe me when I tell y'all, he's not a shot caller. All right, I just want to get that understood. Okay, because there's some cats out there that are trying to paint a picture like Tory Lanez was just, you know, calling shots, you know, putting hits out on people, controlling the dope game. I don't see that happening. I really don't. This right here, like I said, could it have been out of envy, jealousy? Yeah, it could have been. That could have been the case. I don't think so, though. I just think this dude right here, man, he's a fucking nut job. Got some pentagram tattooed right here. Satanic shit. The majority of them dudes like that, man, they're what you call crash dummies. They do shit like this when they're tired of being in the same prison. Oh man, I've been in here too long. I need to get up out of here. And they get anxious. Or he might have out a hit on his ass. They probably put a hit on him. You know, they want to get to him. Like I said, he has a pedophile charge. They know what time it is. His own people probably put out a hit on him. And the only way to get up out of there is by doing some shit like this. Because he will be transferred to another prison. They're gonna lock his ass up. People don't realize that when you're in prison, you still could get locked up while you're in prison. Let me get that understood. You have general population when you do your time with other inmates. You know, you're playing basketball, watching TV, playing dominoes, you know, whatever. But you also could go to segregation. The hole, as they say, you know, that's hard time. You're locked up 23 hours out of the 24. You locked up in that cell, man, people go crazy in that environment. So once again, y'all, man, like I'm telling you, this case right here is unique because it's somebody that has celebrity status. It happens. Unfortunately, it happened to Tory Lanez. I don't wish him no bad. I hope he has a speedy recovery. But 9 times out of 10, I don't see this being a sanctioned hit from the higher ups. I don't see the shot callers, you know, doing something like this. Like I said, it brings too much heat, too much notoriety, and it's gonna affect people's money. It's affecting people's money. Them cats in there trying to do their time, trying to get their money, get their dick sucked, smoke their weed. They trying to do their shit, man. And this right here is gonna stop all that. It has stopped all of that. Everything stops when this type of shit happens. Because like I said, man, it shuts down everything. Like they say, the block is hot. Ain't none of that going down while they're investigating this case right here. It remains to be seen the real reason why it happened. Like I said, everybody has opinions. Everybody has speculations. I just want to give it to y'all and paint the picture so you can understand how this shit works, especially in a state like California. Cali has one of the most politically charged prison environments in the United States of America. I mean, it is what it is. And, you know, him being a Mexican, you know, I don't know if he's a Chicano or from Mexican descent. Him being from Mexican descent, yeah, he is gonna be under an umbrella. And at the end of the day, that umbrella comes from the top. So if he is involved with any type of gangs and he did this, it was sanctioned. They ordered it. If he's not involved with any prison gang and he's what they call a solo rider or an ex, in other words, he was part of a gang and they put out a green light on him and they want to get his ass out of there, he probably did this shit on his own. He probably took it upon himself to do it. Tory Lanez just got caught slipping. So let's see what happens, y'all, man. At the end of the day, unfortunate situation. Let this be a cautionary tale to all my youngsters out there, man. Prison is not an environment you want to be in. I don't care how tough you are, how smart you are. When you get put in this environment, your future, your life is no longer in your hands to an extent. All right? You cannot predict what's gonna happen in this type of environment. You can control it to an extent, but when this type of shit happens, you have to adapt, and you have to adapt quickly, as they say, on the fly. And that's what you see right here. I guarantee you, Tory, you know, he never expected this to happen to him. He's showing love to everybody. He's buying shit for people. You know, people love him. You know, he probably singing in the middle of the night. So, you know, that's another thing you can look at. I remember when I was locked up, one of my neighbors, it was a dude from Oak Cliff. And he would sing every night. People would say, hey man, sing that song by Jodeci. Hey man, sing that song by the Temptations. And he had a beautiful voice. This cat could really, really sing. So we enjoyed it. We enjoyed hearing him sing on the run, on the tier. But I'm gonna give you also an example. When I was on Bbed, the two tiers, the third tier and the second tier, were general population. But in the bottom tier, like the first couple of cells towards the back of the run, of the cell block, you had a couple of cats in there that were, I'm not gonna say PC, but they had them in there like in a transfer. They were waiting to get transferred to another prison. For whatever reason, they were getting transferred to another prison. And I never forget, you had a little white dude in there. He probably was about 22, 23 years old. But he could not come out of his cell. They would bring his lunch to him. They would bring his medication. He was in Medicaid, taking pills. So he couldn't come out of his cell. So he was in his cell all day long. All right, locked up, like I said. But what this dude had, at nighttime, he would start banging his cups. He had a coffee cup and he would bang it on the bars. Blah, 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 blah. Make a lot of noise. And in prison, in Texas, people work. You go to the fields to pick cotton, pick okra, watermelon, whatever. People go to the kitchen and work. They're working in the kitchen. People work in the hog factory. People work in the steel factory. There's jobs in the prison system. So if you gotta wake up early in the morning the next day to go to prison, and you have this dude in the first run, in the first tier, making his noise all night long, blah, 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 yelling, ah, and he's doing it on purpose. He's doing it on purpose. People tell him, shut the fuck up, bitch, go to sleep. And he's doing it, ah. It happens. So you have all these people that are coming down the stairs in the back of the run, and everybody that passes by this dude's cell, they're throwing piss at him, they're throwing hot water at him. I'm talking about wintertime. Big ass window open on the run. All this cold air coming. But every time they had a chance, when they would walk past his cell, they were throwing water at his ass. So just imagine this dude in front of this big ass window in the middle of December, this cold ass air hitting him, and he's soaking wet. He's shivering because they couldn't get to him. They couldn't do nothing to him. They couldn't put their hands on him. He was behind the bars. So that's why he would do this shit. So my point is, what I'm trying to tell y'all is, it could have been that Tory Lanez was doing a lot of singing. They say he was on a run on a tier with a bunch of Mexicans. It could have been that Tory Lanez being that bitch, singing or, trying to record music. And he wouldn't let them dudes sleep. And old boy right here, this crash dummy, he took it upon himself to take his ass out. And I'm just saying, man, there's so many different possibilities that we don't know. Well, we will know the truth is gonna come out. It will be filtered out. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is, I just don't see this being a sanctioned hit from the upper ups. I just don't see it. It can be, I just don't see it. Either way it go, man, I'm gonna keep my ears to this one. I appreciate y'all joining me in my channel. At the end of the day, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Like that, I can circulate this heat, give it to y'all more raw and uncut Panama's OG truth. To the next one, to all my people that are locked up, man, that ain't never going home, man, my hat goes out to y'all. Stay strong, keep your head on a swivel, keep your head up. Believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and you will have a chance to that freedom. Believe it or not, you will have that chance. Believe. To the next one, Panama's OG truth.